overboard.
Welcome back everyone to another NRG, back to the PlayStation 4 with this one, and this is Sine Mora EX, or Sine Mora if you will. It's Latin, so I'm just going to call it Sine Mora because it sounds more Latin-ish, doesn't it? I think it means without delay, it translates to out delay. Anyway, this is a bullet hell style side-scrolling shooter that originally came out in 2012 on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and this is the sort of reskinned, extended, graphically enhanced version on the PlayStation 4. It's a fine example of a 2.5D shoot 'em up. So yeah, traditionally side-scrolling shoot 'em up with the two axes of plane, so 2D, but you've also got 3D rendered graphics that flow seamlessly into cutscenes and the storyline, which is rather complicated, which old Cos is telling us about here. We're going to skip through a lot of the storyline aspects in this particular NRG. It's rather convoluted, pretty extended, and complicated to follow. Essentially, it's a timey-wimey kind of plot. It's involving two parallel timelines within the same universe, two stories within the same timeline, should I say, to do a war between the Empire and the Enkies. Yeah, I'm not going to explain the story, it's rather complicated, but anyhow, let's have a look at these glorious visuals, some really lovely sort of cyberpunkish, diesel punkish kind of graphics and styles and machinery and stuff going on there. Very good. I love it. It's got a really nice style to it. Some loads of audio work on this, and plenty of loads of really good voiceover acting and good sound effects and excellent soundtrack too. Really sets the mood for a lot of the action of what's to follow. A lot of depth to this view as well. And so with this sort of like 3D rendered background and the 3D rendered enemies and your plane, of course, everything looks very, very deep. Look at that. I mean, that's yeah. You don't get that with several other. Yeah, don't get that with R-Type, do you? No, you don't. No, this is much more along the lines of the Battle Garaga, Batsugun, a lot of like cave and tire plan inspired shoot 'em ups, that kind of thing. Donpachi and things like that. It does have that sort of machinery to it, this sort of mechanic to it, where you've got to really concentrate on where you are positioning and what weapons you're using at a certain given time. It doesn't have traditional energy bars, this game, or lives for that matter. It all works around time. The time aspect is rather important because the time travel aspect is sort of like depicted within the gameplay. So you can slow time down at certain points and fast forward time, collect time capsules and things like that. But also, as you shoot these, as you shoot your enemies, and they're not all bad guys, by the way. For instance, we're playing as the Empire in this beginning sort of tutorial sequence. Every time you sort of like score a hit, you're gaining time back on the stage to keep yourself going, keep yourself alive. So yeah, that's the kind of gist of it and the way it goes. But see, seamlessly moving into a cutscene there, really lovely. I just love that. There's no pausing, no stopping, nothing. Just straight into a cutscene. Novice pilots. We're going to continue the novice story, I think. So I'm very confused with the story. If you want to read up on the story, go and read up on it somewhere else, because my word. So here we got to use the weapon shield cooperative and the time capsule. You can choose different fighters as well, different aircraft and different characters as well, and the different characters have different attributes. Then your weapon systems and abilities are more tuned to the different characters rather than the different planes or aircraft. I should say aircraft, shouldn't I? So there's an example of me slowing time down to avoid these bullets. I'm getting hit there and just losing time for my efforts. Do you like some of the transitions when you go into the boss battles? The boss battles are particularly good. We'll get to some of those later on. I'm going to go through the first level. Like I say, I have to spin on with some of the storyline because you don't want to be sitting there. It's like listening to an audio book. I'm not going to be doing that. Oh, nearly lost something there. There we go. Boom. Impressive explosions. Lovely skyscape on that. Really pretty. Really pretty stuff. I think the enhancements on the PS4 are not major over the original version, but they do make it look absolutely glorious. Cloudscape's lovely. So this is kind of like a tutorial level, this first one. We're just going through this, and then we'll get onto a proper level. Also acts as the sort of like the prelude, prologue prelude to the storyline as well. We'll fast forward that. We'll jump into, and you see that's the just fast forward in the story there. That you can do that kind of stuff as well, manipulate things like that to progress things. This is I think this is the bomber that kills the Enkis, the Cobalt King, nuclear bombs, and here he is, old Cos telling us about the nuclear attack that mass murdered loads of people. What lovely stuff. It's all very dark and all very sort of like future cyber hell, dystopian futures on another planet kind of thing. So that, on that aspect, it's not actually original really, but the characters are actually certainly original. These kind of half human, half animal characters. Very original, interesting names as well. A lot of it Latin based, of course. There we go. Like I say, cutscene flows straight into the gameplay, and I think that's really lovely done. Really clever. And in certain points, you'll be able to move around certain objects and scenery. There's also foreground, which you can fly behind and under and through. Beautiful animation, really lovely animation in the background there, excellent stuff. Very smooth, very fluid, excellent to control as well, really responsive to control. You can get a bit lost sometimes with the mixture of 2D and 3D. You can get a bit lost of where certain things are in your sort of like, you know, the sort of viewer perspective. Some excellent looking weapons as well. Superb little laser there. Well, not little laser, that's a big laser. Some of them power-ups are very difficult to sort of spot as well in the background. It's nice as well when you're working on the two different storylines within the same timeline, because you can revisit the same sort of area of the stage, and it was altered from what you did before. So anything you destroyed, destruction, anything that's been built since, all it is a little squiddling thing going around. Look at that. That's, oh, I love that. I love things like that. Just fluid stuff. Nothing to worry about false alarm, but there was something flying around in there. And here he is. This giant squid thing. Kolobok. How are you supposed to avoid that bloody laser? Well, I've got my shield on anyway, but if I didn't have that shield, how the hell are you supposed to avoid that laser? So blowing up parts of this giant squid thing obviously will give me time. Hits will lose me time. Once I've run out of time, that's it. I'm gone. I'm a goner. Great imagination into this though, I think. Lots of really interestingly strange designed creatures and robots and cybernetic cyberpunk stuff going on. Lots of attention to detail to them as well. Really have got an attention to detail. Oh, I just got flamed there and I run out of time. Am I still going? Oh yeah, I am still going. I lost a life there. So I ran out of time. Took all my time away from me, bitch. Power-up systems will work on the bar at the top. So every time you get a power-up icon, it works up in like 9 sequences. So you get nine of them icons, and you'll get a power-up weapon, which will stay with you forever. Actually, you never lose that. So it's a nice little build-up system. Very handy, especially when you progress through the game. Oh, God, fucking. And I don't care about the language either. God fucking damn it, he says. Let's snap his bloody little tentacle things off. Come on, boom. There we go. Get lots of time for that. Bang, boom. Lots of lovely explosions as well. Impressive stuff. Very anime style. I like it. It's kind of like a Western anime style. It's got that kind of imagination to it. Yes, it's a rather neat little bullet hell shoot 'em up. I kind of like it, and like I say, this EX version it's got an extended storyline. Its graphics have been polished up a bit, and it's a wonderful little game to get. I think excellent stuff. It's Sine Mora on the PlayStation 4. Sine Mora EX. I should get that right, really. On PlayStation 4, came out in 2017. Thanks for watching. And with that destruction of that robot squid, it's Novabug out.